Let's get today's show underway by saying hello to BYU OC Coach Aaron Roderick. Coach, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Jake.
All right, let's look back on Saturday. First of all, what a great weather day in Florida. It was hot, but not too hot, humid, not too humid, nice breeze. I thought it was perfect football weather.
Beautiful day, yeah. It was couldn't ask for anything better.
Good day for a rocket launch as well. Interestingly, right during the Matava touchdown play, Tava scores, celebration, rocket goes up. It was amazing timing.
And we were looking right at it.
Yes, we had a great view of it.
It was unbelievable, yeah. I couldn't believe it.
First time experience for me, I imagine you too.
Yes, it was.
That was wild. You're in the play sheet, but you've got a touchdown to celebrate, and perfect timing. This rocket, about 20, 30 miles to the east, is just a fireball into the sky.
That was wild. I've never seen anything like that.
That was so cool. I knew we'd have a great view of it too. All right, let's get to the game. BYU's now lost 5 consecutive coin tosses, so the offense has been on the field for 5 straight games. 3 TDs in those 5 games on opening drives. You're not minding taking the ball first these days.
No, I like getting the ball first, so that I don't mind at all when we lose the coin toss. We put a lot of effort into fast start. You know, we want to score a touchdown on our first drive, and so yeah, I'm great with having the ball first.
Time to update the stat. BYU now 34 consecutive wins with a TD on the opening possession. Let's take a look at that opening drive from Saturday. 2 third-down conversions in the possession, 5 rushes, 3 passes, 75-yard, really solid drive to open the scoring.
It was, and you mentioned third down. Our third down improvement in the last 3 games is been huge. We were 7 for 14 Saturday. I think the official stat was 7 for 15, but one of those was a victory formation at the end of the game, and going 2 for 2 on 4th down. Those conversions are really keeping our drives alive and allowing us to score more points.
Second consecutive week in which Jake Retzlaff has a 29-yard run. We saw the touchdown run of 29 yards right there. So he's got 3 runs of 25-plus yards over the last 2 games. How would you compare him to your other dual-threat QBs in Zach Wilson and Jaron Hall?
I mean, he's up there. Before the season, I knew he was a good athlete, and we knew he could run, but he exceeds our expectations every week. And that opening drive touchdown run was right up there with some of the best things Zach and Jaron ever did. And we noticed the week before Iowa State's quarterback had scrambled a lot in that game. UCF has a good pass rush, but they're a little bit undisciplined in their rush lanes, and we knew there was going to be a chance to scramble. They were playing man coverage and covered our receivers pretty well, but those guys in man coverage can't see the quarterback because they're covering their guy. So Jake found the lane and took off.
Does a pretty good job of staying out of harm's way, doesn't he? Knows how to get in the right places?
He does, and another thing that he's really doing well is he has 2 hands on the football as he steps through the line so that no one can take it from him. He keeps 2 hands on it, and then he breaks and scores, and we've been working hard on that, just keeping 2 hands on the football at all times.
Okay, great opening drive Saturday. Your second drive was a real grinder. Season-long, 18 plays. Season-long duration, 8:17 off the clock. You get points out of it. You take a 10-0 lead early in the second quarter, and it featured another third down conversion, 2 fourth-down conversions, including a fake field goal. As it turned out, you did get points out of it. It kept the drive alive. What a time for that call.
Yeah, that was a great sequence there. So we were trying to get to a manageable 4th down. We called a play to try to get to where we'd have a 4th and short, and then we were going to go for it with our offense. We didn't get to the number we wanted to get to, and the special teams, they've got the trick play dialed up. That was beautiful execution. It was disappointing that we only got a field goal after that. I feel bad that Will did a nice fake, and then all we did was get him an easier field goal attempt instead of a touchdown. But this drive, though, I think was really demoralizing to the other team, to the opponent. We took so much time off the clock. We were imposing our will physically. And unbelievable play here on 4th down by Darius Lasser.
I thought it was going to be short, and he makes the 4th down.
Great individual effort. But I think leaving their offense on the sideline for almost 9 minutes while we were just marching down the field, I think that was really set the tone for that we were in control of that game.
We'll talk more with Coach K-Pop about that fake field goal, of course, in the second half hour. And yeah, just on that note, they came into the game, UCF, with the second best rush attack in the country behind only Army. Normally that team expects to own the possession time battle, and you went 40-20 in possession time on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the story of the game, really. Sometimes the time of possession can be a little bit overrated as a stat, but I think Saturday it was really telling of just how much we controlled the game, how much we did not allow them to do what they wanted to do offensively by just basically staying on the field and getting points with our possessions. We we were very efficient with, I think we punted twice, and all of our other possessions we got points.
Coach Malzahn, post-game, you mentioned how that last drive, the 8-minute, 17-second drive, was demoralizing. He thought the next one was the killer, the 92-yard drive. You only got to 1 third down on the drive, and L.J. Martin converted it in kind of unconventional fashion because he recovered, I think he recovers a fumble to move the stick, didn't he, on the third down?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he scores on the very next play.
Yeah, that was a great drive by our players. They just, and they punted on 4th and 1 from midfield.
Yep.
And which was, we would have gone for that one. They punted to us, and we get the ball, and our players were very determined to go get a touchdown, and they executed extremely well on that drive. And again, I think that was another one where we just really took some wind out of their sails with the time of how long the drive took, also just how physical we were on that drive. We were really, pounding them pretty good each play.
Great tenacity by LJ to get the ball back to begin with.
Yeah.
And just keep churning here.
Yeah, he the yards after contact are such a big part of his game, and he is making yards well after getting hit every play.
Massive sequence late in the second quarter in this game. UCF's now showing signs of life. They're down 17-10, but they had to settle for a field goal before giving the ball back 59 seconds before halftime. You've gotten the ball a lot of times this year with a minute or so to go before halftime, and you're getting points a lot of the time. We've seen you drive for long field goals right before halftime, but this time you get a touchdown, arguably the play of the game. 3rd and 8 from the BYU 38, only 30 seconds to go in the half, and then you're in the end zone.
Yeah, well, first of all, it was just a great play by Chase for the touchdown, just a great individual effort, good throw and catch between those two. But the drive itself, we started out with a run play that got us a good chunk of yards, and once we made that chunk, we went pedal down, full tilt, 2-minute. We started out thinking, let's try to get to field goal range, and then after like I said, the first run play to LJ, now we're thinking touchdown. And Jake's done a great job in 2-minute. Our O-line is protecting, and the guys are executing. They believe in 2-minute we can score.
And this was a key middle 8 portion of the game. Yeah. They had the ball, looking like they could maybe own the middle 8. They have to give it to you, and that play I thought was a real gut punch.
Yeah, we got a touchdown here, and then opened the third quarter with another touchdown, and that was a pretty tough sequence for those guys.
200 passing yards for Jake Retzlaff in the opening half, a new single half high for him. How did you feel about your 24-10 lead at halftime?
Good. I mean, you never, it's far from game over, but we felt like we were playing well, and knew that coming out and getting points in the first possession would be huge. We wanted to extend it to a 3-score lead, and knew that their offense would have a tough time playing from behind 3 scores. They were struggling to throw the ball all season, running it very well, but you don't have enough possessions left to just keep running the ball when you're down by three scores.
Yeah, they did come in as a kind of one-dimensional team. They only broke out of it really late with their quarterback change at the very, very end. Got a little bit of productivity there.
Correct. Yeah, and that's why we didn't throw it quite as much in the second half, as we were running it so well. And by the time you get to the middle of the third quarter, now you're counting possessions. Yep. Okay, how many possessions are they going to get left to catch up to us? And how much clock can we run without completely, we didn't want to be completely one-dimensional or be completely in 4-minute offense yet. But
if you're moving the sticks on the ground.
In this game, that countdown started a little earlier than normal. Yeah.
Good point. After the break, we'll close the book on the win in Orlando as we take a look at the second half on offense. As we head to this break, a reminder to join Dave McCann and former Cougars, Blaine Fowler and David Nixon tomorrow night for a brand new episode of After Further Review. They'll break down the film of BYU's win at UCF and look ahead to the Utah game following BYU's bye week. That's tomorrow at 7 Eastern on the BYUtv app and ESPN+. When we return, more with BYU Offensive Coordinator Aaron Roderick as the Coordinator's Corner continues. We're brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys.
Coordinator's Corner is presented by JCW's The Burger Boys and Intermountain Health, official medical provider for BYU Athletics.
And we are back on the Coordinator's Corner, visiting with BYU OC and QB coach Aaron Roderick. BYU with the second of its 2 bye weeks this season, and the Cougs go into the off week at 8-0 on the season, 5-0 and atop the Big 12. Win number 8, 37-24 at UCF on Saturday. 24-10 lead at halftime. Only one BYU touchdown in the second half, and it came on the opening possession of the third quarter, as you noted, big in that middle 8. You got one nice third down conversion from Jake Retzlaff. It was another double-digit play drive for you too, Coach. Final play of the possession, nice play call on a 2nd and goal from the 1. It's after a nice Chase Roberts catch that sets you up right at the goal line. I thought Chase might have gotten in. They said 1 yard line. You paid off.
I thought the pass to Chase was a touchdown. Looking at the replay and then our video that we watch as a staff, it looks like he scored, but it was fun to run that goal line play too. We've had the touchdown pass to Tava, we've had that on the call sheet for 8 games, so it was nice to finally get that called.
What a great grab by Chase, and then Tava's wide open here.
Yeah, that's a good execution by everyone there.
Chase Roberts, just 2 catches on the day, 1 for a score and 1 to set up a score.
Yeah, he's just playing really good football, and his perimeter blocking is outstanding too. A couple of our big runs were plays where he's springing the run with the key block in the secondary, and just doing a great job.
What can you say about your group of wideouts right now? Because you're playing 6 guys pretty regularly right now.
Yeah, first of all, Fessie's a great coach. Our wide receiver play has been good, really good for the whole time that I've been here, and he gets those guys ready to play every week. Secondly, I think we're skilled, and then those guys are good football players, and they're very unselfish. That's a huge key to our success right now. Is we have an unselfish football team. Everybody likes winning a lot more than they like stats, and I think they're all appreciating how fun it is to win over just having a couple more catches or something like that. And so I think everyone's willing to share the ball and share responsibilities and do what it takes to win.
You brought up Chase's blocking. As a blocking group, how would you assess the wideouts?
Outstanding. Darius Lassiter is a really good blocker and had some key blocks Saturday. Parker Kingston's a good blocker. JoJo had a couple huge blocks in that game. So it's everybody involved, and they're all doing a great job. Okay,
you've had 16 drives to open halves this season, 8 games, 2 halves, 9 touchdowns in the 16 half opening drives. This has been a big part of your success this year.
It has, and we spend a lot of time planning those drives. A lot of that stuff's scripted during the week, and we stress out, Monday through Wednesday, scripting what those early plays will be. You don't always stay exactly to the script, but there is a script that we're trying to stick to, and most of the time we're having pretty good success. But it's a 2-sided game. The defense is going to have its own game plan for you. Sure. And how is that dance in the opening possession of certainly games to where what you want to do is to as opposed to what you're seeing? Yeah, and that's why you can't always stick exactly to the script. Sometimes teams come out and play something different than what you planned on, and then you have to adjust. But and UCF did some things Saturday that were a little different. But overall, I think we had a good plan, and our players knew the plan, and they went out and executed it. Okay, you were up 31-10. What was going to be your MO the rest of the way, considering you were running the ball more or less at will? You kind of hinted at the fact that you began counting possessions maybe a little earlier, but up 21 in the second half? Yeah, we wanted to keep the game the 3-score lead. And we were doing everything we could to do that, eat as much clock as we can, and not do anything to hurt ourselves. We did have 1 turnover. We had Parker Kingston wide open for a touchdown. If we could have just held on to it, Jake was loading up for that, right? Yeah, he was about to let it go to Parker, and we just had a little slip up in protection. If we could have given him a 1/10 of a second more, it would have been a touchdown pass. So we were trying to still run the ball and yet be aggressive enough to take a shot or throw a pass, enough passes to keep them honest. But yeah, you want to keep that game 3 scores, and you want to make the other team have to be outside of their comfort zone. Okay. You were up 31-10, a 3-score lead. You get a short field after a Glasgow pick, and then Will Farron made it 34-10. Will's been so reliable for you this season, and a good kicker helps an offensive coordinator, doesn't it? He has, and I would have liked to have gotten a touchdown there, but we were just trying to play smart and make sure we take really good care of the ball because they just gave it to us. Let's get it back to a 3-score lead again and put them back in, in that tough position of having to throw. And our pass defense is outstanding, and we felt like if we could just make them have to march the whole field with a 3-score lead, they're going to make mistakes.
By the way, Will Farron picked today as the Special Teams Player of the Week in the Big 12. His fake field goal effort, a big part of that. We'll talk again with Coach Papinga about Will a little later on in the show. Your next possession, up 24, featured L.J. Martin's final touch of the day, and it was a 6-yard run that put him over 100 rushing yards for the second straight week. It was his first 100-yard game against Oklahoma State. He gets it in back-to-back weeks now. LJ's he's coming into his own a little bit, isn't he?
He is. He's a very good football player, and missing those games early in the season, I think it was, I think, easy to sort of forget how good he really is. And now that he's back, you see him put his stamp on the game. 2 games in a row now, where he's a very instinctive runner. He's a very physical runner. He breaks tackles, and he's just a very smart football player. He does it all. He's a good receiver, good pass protector, and can't say enough good things about him.
Pretty good record with his workload too, and a pretty good workload for. He had 15 carries for 101, and BYU in the 2 seasons you've had LJ, you're 5-0 when he has 15 carries or more. Yeah,
and we want to get him in the 20s every game if we can. And Saturday, Folau was also running really well, so we got LJ 15, but you're going to keep seeing more of him.
There was a play I wanted to highlight. It came in the fourth quarter, and I think it was the last real competitive possession you had where you were trying to do something with it. Will Farron gets a field goal out of it, I think, to make it 37-18 at the time. But there was one key play. Jake Retzlaff ran for 12 yards on a 3rd and 9 from the BYU 26. You're up 16 right here, so technically it's a 2-score game, if you will. So you wanted to get some kind of points, and you're kind of in your own zone, 3rd and 9. And Jake, I thought, a tremendous effort to get 12 and keep the drive alive.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on there. It's 3rd and 9, but we're near midfield, so there's a good chance we're approaching midfield. There's a good chance we don't want to put the ball in risk here, like trying to we don't want to risk having a sack or a turnover or something. So we decided to he can hand off that jet sweep to the running back if he wants, or he can pull it and run, and he also has an RPO option as well off of it. And so there's a lot going on there, and Jake's doing a really good job making great decisions, and the play was very well blocked by the offensive line.
A 12-yard run on a 3rd down and 9. Excellent effort by Jake. So you end up winning 37-24. Their number 4 QB, if you want to look at it that way, came in and led a couple of late touchdown drives, but the game was all but won at that point.
Yeah, it was, and the fact that they got to their 4th quarterback said a lot about just how we played as a team. I thought the big picture, we won that game as a team. Our defense, kept them out of the end zone. Our offense controlled the clock and controlled the game, and our special teams were outstanding. In Power Conference football, it's just hard to win games. Winning by 2 scores on the road, 2 time zones away, that's a great result. Absolutely. We'll take a win any way we can get it, but I thought Saturday was an example of how we want to play football as a team. I mentioned earlier that they came in as the number 2 rush attack in the country, yards per game at least, behind Army, and you outgained them on the ground by 74 yards on this night. And LJ and Hinckley Ropati, let's mention him, they both had excellent games. And one of the reasons you're able to kind of ride or get LJ some rest, if you will, was because Hinckley was running it so well. Correct. Hinckley was playing very good, very well, and we thought he deserved some of those carries in the fourth quarter. And it all starts up front, though, man. Our offensive line, our tight ends, our receivers. The run game is an 11-man thing every play. I always say that. The quarterback is involved. There's a lot of decision-making post-snap with those plays. And our quarterbacks, Jake's getting us in the right play a lot. We have a lot of audibles. Many of those plays that just look kind of boring where you just hand it off and looks like a run play. There's 2 or 3 different options where he can change the play, get us to something else. And he is doing an outstanding job of that. Okay, conversion downs. Let's pull off the one that was a kneel at the end of the game. Between 3rd and 4th downs, which are the conversion downs, 9 for 16 on the day. Exactly. That is the stat we look at, is conversion downs. And we've been much better on 3rd down in the last 3 games. We started off the season poorly, so if we can continue that trend, I think we're going to keep getting good results. And the 4th downs stay rock solid for you. Really high 4th down number right now. Yeah, it's 4th down's a big part of what we do, and we're going to keep doing it. I think we've gone for it 18 times this year, and that's just part of how we play. Okay, this is going to segue into your Offensive Player of the Week. Jake Retzlaff had a career FBS high for him, 174 pass efficiency rating, 2 more touchdown passes. He has multiple TD passes in 7 of his 8 games this year. He's doing a good job. And I challenged him this week to have a higher completion percentage. Our completion percentage is a little lower than a lot of teams because we throw the ball down the field so much. We take a lot more shots and a lot more deep throws than most teams. So anytime you do that, it's going to cut it a little bit. But we were challenging him this week to throw a higher completion percentage. He did that. I thought he was very good. 2 of his incompletions were throwaways where he had to throw it away. Twice we had a little mix-up with routes and receiver not running the route that we were expecting. He had to throw the ball away, and those are good. It's good to throw it away when the play's not there and not force something. So I was really pleased with how he played.
His completion number was 67% on the day at 16 for 24.
One thing that was another thing that maybe no one noticed, but the other team didn't touch the ball one time in the game on any of our pass attempts. There wasn't a tipped ball. There wasn't. Central Florida did not touch the football in that game, and that's in the passing game, and that's a big part of what we're looking for as far as taking care of the football goes with our passing game.
0 PBUs, 0 INTs.
None. Yeah.
This will lead us into. By the way, 4 games left now in the regular season. Last year, with 4 games left in the regular season, was when Jake Retzlaff became the starting quarterback. The growth in Jake from through 8 games, 4 games to go last year to 4 games to go this year. How would you describe it?
I would describe it as, normal. That's the normal process we went through with Zach. It's the normal process we went through with Jaron. Keaton went through it with another team, and we got him as he was a seasoned veteran. I think he's going through the normal process that quarterbacks go through. And he's played 1 full season now. And so you can expect him to play more like a veteran each game.
Excellent. Let's get to our Offensive Player of the Week. We've talked a lot about him. Let's ID Jake Retzlaff as your Player of the Week from UCF.
Yeah, well, as I already mentioned, it's the most efficient game he's had passing in his time here, and just made good decisions all day. He's a huge threat in the run game, I'm proud of the progress he's making, and we want to keep going. We haven't arrived at all. He still has a lot more to give, and there's still a lot of ways he can improve, but thought he played really good football.
Another game with multiple passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. One of the top 25 players in the country, and the points responsible for per game is Jake Retzlaff. All right. Next Saturday, tune to Cougar pregame live on BYU Radio beginning at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, as the Cougars head up the road to take on the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. Game time was set today. It will be at 8:15 p.m. Mountain, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. As we go to break, a reminder that dinner after the game at JCW's includes something for everybody, from burgers to wings, shakes to salads. JCW's, quality and a lot of it in Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman. Coming up next, a look ahead to BYU's first rivalry game as a member of the Big 12. You're in the Coordinator's Corner, brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys. Back on Coordinator's Corner, closing segment with BYU Offensive Coordinator and QB Coach Aaron Roderick. We are off next week with BYU getting ready for Utah. No game this weekend. Coach A-Rod and the Cougs heading into the bye week preceding the rivalry game in Salt Lake City. It is BYU and Utah 1 week from this upcoming Saturday. And this preview of the Utes is brought to you by Intermountain Health, official medical provider for BYU Athletics. The Utes opened 4-0. They've now lost 4 in a row, falling at Houston on the weekend. They were the preseason pick to win the Big 12, and Coach Roderick, most of the Utes' best numbers, a lot of top 20 stats on the defensive side of the ball. It's a good defensive team and always have been under Kyle Whittingham. Yeah, very good defense. They always are. And in this game, it doesn't really matter what everybody's records are. It's almost always a 4-quarter game, and I've been involved with this game for a long time. On both sides. Yep, and you can usually just throw out all the stats and all the records, and we're expecting them their best, and they're going to get our best, and it's going to be a fun game. Last meeting was a 26-17 BYU win with Jaron Hall back in 2021 at LaVell Edwards Stadium. How do you guys plan to handle the extra week of preparation? What kind of workload will you put on your team? We'll be practicing 3 times this week. We have a bye week format that we've used that's been good for us. We'll get work done, but try to also let some guys get healthy as well, and get our plan. We're already going on the game plan, and we'll have 3 good practices this week. Last week you called the UCF game Super Bowl 8, so Utah Super Bowl 9.
Yeah, and that, that's how you just want to treat every single game is huge. And obviously this one's big no matter what, but it's big because it's the next one too. That's just the way college football is. It's a one-game season.
Okay. Good luck in the extra time of prep, and good luck against Utah. We'll be talking to you a little later on in November. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. That is Coach Aaron Roderick. Tomorrow night, join us for BYU football with Kalani Sitake. The coach and tight end Matava Tase will help us look back at the UCF win and ahead to a bye week followed by the Utah game. Watch Tuesdays, 8:30 Eastern on the BYUtv app or ESPN+. Coming up next, BYU Special Teams Coordinator Kelly Papinga joining us. As the Coordinator's Corner continues, we are brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys.